All right. I think we're live, everybody. How is everybody doing? I am here in sunny Los Angeles, which is actually colder than New York City at the moment, which is kind of funny. And I am so honored and blessed to be able to give you guys this live stream. I'm in my best friend's home in Beverly Hills. This is the Gabby bedroom in my best friend's home. And it's so fun for me to be able to do this. And it's such an honor to be able to work with Tetley Tea. As many of you know, I have been off coffee for the past 2.5 months, maybe longer now. I have to really get the day count going. And I'm so happy to be working with an amazing tea brand to put this content out to the world and really give you guys lots of love and show you what's going on the May Cause Miracles book tour journey and take a lot of questions. We've received tons of questions. You can tweet questions to me at Gabby Bernstein and just continue on to just keep sending those messages throughout this call. And I will be teaching for about 20 minutes, followed by a long Q&A where we can really go deep into what your questions are to make sure that you get all of your desired needs answered. And that is one of my favorite things to do, which is to answer your questions. So it is awesome to be here. I have been traveling across the country for several days now. It has been a launch in a launch in Connecticut, New York, San Francisco, LA. Tomorrow I go to Miami, and it has been wonderful to be with so many of you. And now this was part of my tour. We're here. We're on Ustream, and we are talking about May Cause Miracles. So here's May Cause Miracles. This is the book that we were talking about in 2013. And what I'm going to do today is sort of touch on some of the key principles in the book that will help you begin to create some radical change in your life. But I want to make sure that you see this subtitle. It says, "A Guidebook of Subtle Shifts for Radical Change and Unlimited Happiness." And it's really important that we hone in on that word subtle, because so many of us think that we need to make radical change overnight. I need to get off of that addiction tomorrow. I need to overcome my resentments immediately. I need to lose 10 pounds tonight. It's like we think that we need to do all of this so quickly. And that's often where we can really limit ourselves and block ourselves from our capacity to create real change. And so I put this word subtle in that subtitle in a very, very specific place because it was really important to me that you were given the opportunity to recognize that some of your greatest change can happen when you are simply focused on just experiencing subtle shifts. And those subtle shifts are the miracles. Those moments when you start to perceive things differently, the moment when you recognize that you don't need to hold on to that resentment, the instant when you can breathe more easily. Those moments, when added up, can guide you to live a miraculous life. And it's not necessarily, like I said, about having some big bang blast of a major experience and a quantum shift. Though that can happen, the moment-to-moment miracles are what we are striving for here. And so I'm going to give you some of the key principles throughout May Cause Miracles that will help you begin to understand how to create those moment-to-moment shifts. And as we open our hearts and our minds to creating those shifts, that's when sometimes those shifts begin to occur naturally without much effort at all. And so I'll first begin by just saying that we have this experience of being caught in a certain behavior and caught in a pattern. And that behavioral pattern is coming from our thought forms, it's coming from our belief systems, it's coming from our energy, because whatever we're thinking is affecting our energetic state. And whatever energy we're putting out into the world is creating the reality of what we experience. And so I'm going to repeat that. Our thoughts are informing our energy, and our energy is informing our life's experience. Because just think about it simply. If you're walking into your office every day with a bad attitude, thinking, I hate this place, I hate this place, I hate this place, your energy is lowered. People pick up on that energy, and in effect, you have a bad experience in your office. I really believe that thoughts speak louder than words. And so those thoughts that we have are infusing our being with positivity or negativity. And then that positivity is either emanating off of us or that negativity is leaking off of us. And it can be dictating our life's experience. The first step towards reclaiming our experience in life and starting to soften those darker edges is to become the witness of those fears. And I often talk about becoming the non-judgmental witness, to be able to look at the fear-based experiences and become honest about them and not judgmental of at all, because we don't want to look at our stuff and say, oh my God, I'm horrible. I can't believe that I'm having this experience. How dare I be alive because I'm doing all this stuff. We want to really make sure that we're looking, and we're looking without judgment, and we're looking without fear. And we don't want this process of witnessing our behavior to become more of a reason to get down on ourselves. We want this to be something that we celebrate and something that we honor and something that we are grateful to be able to do. And to become that non-judgmental witness of our behavior, looking at the experience that we're having in any given moment and saying simply, I witness this is not serving me. I can see how my thoughts and my belief systems and my energy are holding me back and keeping me small and making my life difficult. And I recognize that this is not who I really am. I choose to see this differently. And so as you start to look at your life, and so there's been a ton of questions that have come in. So let's just say you're looking at your life and you start to experience, oh, well, I don't like how I have no money and I constantly stay stuck in lack and people make me feel like I have no money and I can never get a job. You want to look at that behavior and you want to say, how are my thoughts and my actions and my words creating this reality? How is it that every time I say I don't have enough or there's not enough, is that supporting me? No. And immediately when you ask yourself, is this energy, these words, and these actions supporting me? Get honest with yourself and witness that behavior. And as you witness it, you'll begin to see it's not supporting you whatsoever. And you'll begin to really recognize how detrimental it can be to your life. Often as you begin to witness these behaviors, you start to see how your relationships are directly affected by your fear-based belief systems, how your bank account can be affected by your fear-based belief systems, how your physical body can be affected by your fear-based belief systems. I know for myself, when I start thinking, oh my God, I have so much to do, my shoulders are like this, I get total cramps in my back, and it becomes this experience of feeling like I'm physically holding all that I think I need to hold in the world. And so we can have a physical manifestation of what it is that we are thinking and believing. And so it's really important to become the witness of this behavior without being able to take the magnifying glass and look at the behavior honestly and really say, oh, what's coming up for me? If we aren't willing to do that, then in effect, we aren't going to be able to change. Real change requires a desire to change. So you can write that down and you can tweet that one. Real change requires a desire to change. And so if you really want to experience some shifts in your life, you have to become open, ready, and willing to experience that. And of course in Miracles, which is the metaphysical text that I teach, says that miracles arise out of conviction. And we need to be really convicted. We need to really confirm that we are ready to change. And that confirmation can come through daily prayer. In this book, every day of each week, this is a 6-week course, 40-day course, but takes you through 6 different weeks. Each week gives you the first day, which is about becoming willing to change. And so that's a really important step that I'm going to continue to emphasize. And I want you to really see that the first step here is to witness the behavior. And the second step is to fully surrender and become willing to see it differently. And some language that you can use around that is just to simply say, I recognize that this isn't serving me. These fear-based thoughts are holding me back and keeping me small. I am willing to see them differently. And all you need is that slight willingness to create radical change in your life. That slight willingness could have led you to a call like this. That slight willingness could have helped you find a book like May Cause Miracles. That slight willingness could really open you up very wide to a whole heightened state of being. So just the simplicity of being the witness of your fear and the willingness to see it differently is the first step. With that willingness then comes a greater energy. You start to feel energized by your thoughts. And I'm going to have a sip of my tea right now while we're talking. And you really start to feel energized by your thoughts. And you feel as though you can start to create some shifts. And so the next step is to start to automatically and purposefully start to reclaim a new way of thinking. And so when you get into that pattern and that behavior of witnessing, I went to that scary place again, and willing to see it differently, then the next step, you can start to choose to see it differently. You can start to choose a greater thought. You can say, I believe that this is something that I'm seeing now, but I believe it isn't real. Or you can say, I recognize that I have been unemployed for a while, but I'm open to creative possibilities for employment. And you can begin to change the language around what it is that you have been saying out loud and starting to project. And as you change the language, you start to create a new projection. And so when you do change that language, you want to make sure that you're changing the language in a way where you believe in what it is that you're saying. You want to be able to say, okay, I know that I am feeling like I can't get that romantic partner, but I'm open to receiving infinite possibilities for romantic love. I'm open to attracting a romantic partner. I'm willing to see this differently. And that language starts to shift your energy around the fear-based belief system. And that's what's so radical about this work, is that the language is so crucial. Words have so much power. But remember, like I said earlier, our thoughts speak louder than words. So we have to begin with the thoughts and then move into the words. The next phase here is also to become grateful for what it is that you do have. So if you're starting to try to create change in your life, you want to make sure that you're really focusing on what it is that you do have in your life so that you feel an energy of gratitude. And an energy of gratitude can really open you up to this incredible capacity to feel more energized, to feel more happy. In any given moment where you feel like, I don't have what I need, or I'm not supported, or things aren't working out, the simple step here is to just say, I am grateful for what I do have. And when we look and we say, I'm grateful for what I do have, we create more of what we want. And the energy of gratitude opens our heart, and it expands our energy, and it makes us a much more wonderful, loving person to be around. And with that loving energy, we begin to attract more into our life. And so we want to really make sure that that energy of gratitude is a very pinnacle part of this miracle worker process, which is that we stay committed and open to what it is that we are here to receive. And we stay committed and grateful for what it is that we have. And so you can begin today just by making a gratitude list and focus on it. And there's so many moments when I think, oh my God, I can't believe I have to do this, or I can't believe I have to get to that. And then I just think about what I'm grateful for, and it just spins me immediately out of the crazy chaos and back into a centered place of love. And so I think that this is a really valuable tool for you to begin to use regularly, and it's an active tool throughout the book, May Cause Miracles. Then the next step, which is so crucial, is the F word, and practicing the F word, which is forgiveness in my vocabulary. And forgiveness is the turning point through which we release all that was holding us back and keeping us small and stuck, and open up to the capacity and our ability to see the world with a new, fresh lens. And that is something that is, I think how many of you don't want that? Who doesn't want to have that experience of letting go of all the junk and opening up to a loving lens? And that is what forgiveness offers us. Forgiveness is almost like an automatic reset where we can literally say, I let that go. I choose to see that differently, and really commit to seeing it differently. So with forgiveness as our desired state, it's pretty simple. People are like, okay, that's great. I want to forgive, but how the hell do I get there? And that's why I'm here. So the first step is to become willing to forgive, become open, ready, and willing to forgive. And that, once again, that willingness and that desire to forgive will open you up to the possibilities for forgiveness. And just think about it. If you're unwilling to forgive someone, then there's no creative opportunities coming to you to let things go. You're just going to stay stuck in that behavior and stuck in the fear and stuck in the negativity. Whereas if you start to say and commit to the fact that you're willing to forgive, you can start to experience the opportunity to forgive come to you. And that opportunity comes to you in funny forms. Sometimes when you become open to forgive, you can be meditating, and then that forgiveness process happens organically on your meditation pillow. Or if you're willing to forgive, you can be in a nail salon and the person that you need to forgive comes and sits right down next to you, and you may not have seen them for a decade. But when you open up the energy field to forgive, then you'll be guided to what you need to allow that forgiveness to set in. Mark my words, it happens every time. So your job in the forgiveness process is to just become open and willing to forgive. And that in itself is a real radical blessing that you bestow upon yourself and on the world. I think it's also really important to identify that you need to forgive yourself. It's one thing to be open to forgiving others, but it's a radical, radical statement to commit to forgiving yourself. And we all need to forgive ourselves for many things in life. There's a lot that we hold on to. There's a lot that holds us back. And there's a lot of resentment that we've placed upon ourselves. And so it's very, very important that we make that a commitment and that we commit to seeing ourselves with more love and more gratitude and more appreciation and more self-care. And when we begin to forgive ourselves, that's when a lot of our addictions start to melt away. When you can forgive yourself, you no longer feel like you need to abuse yourself. And so you may start to feel like, oh, I don't need to go to that drug or that drink, or I don't need that sugar as much as I did. And that release that you experience from the self-forgiveness process offers you the greatest blessing, which is that you set yourself free. And that newfound freedom gives you this real pleasure of recognizing all of a sudden one day you can wake up and say, oh my God, I didn't need that coffee. And that can be a real radical experience for you. And so you practicing self-forgiveness is one of the greatest ways to recover from addiction, is one of the greatest ways to release yourself from a lot of pain and discomfort, and it is a great way to open your heart in a greater way and see things differently. And then the final step here is to really expect miracles, to get into an energy where you're faithful and you believe. And that certainty and that expectation, and like I said earlier, that conviction to a miracle is what allows the miracle to occur. So you expecting a miracle. So for me, this past month, I've been desiring the goal of really feeling a sense of support and feeling taken care of and feeling like the universe was really backing up my desire, which was to get my book in the hands of as many people who needed it. And I had really set the conviction, I'm committed to making this book a New York Times bestseller. And not me making it, but me and you and all of the readers and all of the energy around this book and all of the support that this book needed, I welcomed it in. And I committed to it. And I stayed faithful and convicted. And I walked around telling everybody, I'm going to be a New York Times bestseller. I know this is going to happen. I know this is going to happen. And I continue to say, this is it. This is the book. It's going to get there. It's going to happen. And just yesterday, I announced that this book is number 5 in the how-to advice category of the New York Times bestseller list. Number 5, guys. So that miracle came out of conviction. Now, the real miracle wasn't necessarily that it got on the New York Times bestseller list. The miracle was that the book received the support that it needed. And that could have come in another form. And so we have to be loose about the forms. We have to be willing to let go of the form and focus on the content. And in this case, the content was that the book needs to get into the hands of those who need it most. And this, in effect, became the way that that's going to support this movement. But it could have been something else, and I was committed to the conviction that this needs to get in the hands of those who need it, and I hope that it is this New York Times bestseller or something better. And keeping my heart and my mind open and available to receive whatever the universe had in store for me. Because when we start to control and manipulate our desires and say it has to be this way, we block the capacity to receive guidance around us, and we block our capacity to experience a miracle. And so be clear about what you desire, but then also be willing to see it differently. And be willing to let something greater come in, because there's always a plan far greater than yours. And so staying open and ready to receive that plan is what this is all about. And so throughout this book, we talk a lot about meditation and prayer, and I'm going to talk about this as I begin to take your questions. You can tweet at me right now at Gabby Bernstein. You can post on my Facebook page, Gabrielle Bernstein. I have a ton of questions that have already been submitted through the Tetley USA page, and you can also tweet Tetley at Tetley USA throughout this call, throughout this live stream, this live chat, and you can really start to be clear with everybody about what you're experiencing, what you're learning. You can tweet at Ustream if you want to bring them in as well, and let's keep this conversation going. All right, so here we go. I am looking at some of these questions. There are so many questions. I've picked out a bunch of them already. Okay. Peggy says, can you give me advice on how to politely distance myself from negative people in my life or randomly popping back into my life? Ex-boyfriends, negative friends, especially, here I'm just trying to look for this more, especially when you're in a positive transition in your life. How do you distance yourself from negative people? All right, this is a really important question. I get this type of question a lot. I think it's really valuable for us to recognize that when we're on a spiritual path, that's our path, but it's not for everybody. And not everyone wants to know every detail of our path. We have to trust that our shift in perception, our energetic changes, the raising of our own energy will help raise the energy of other people around us. And hopefully we'll start to see how we are no longer an energetic match for the people that don't think and feel the way that we feel. And so slowly we'll begin to see those folks begin to melt away. We'll see them disappear. We'll see them fall off in our life, and we'll see some of our relationships begin to change. And sometimes that's a little bit alarming for people, but it's actually a good sign. It's a sign that you are not stuck in that pattern anymore. It's a sign that your desire to change has been lifted and that you now are vibrating at a new frequency, and those relationships will melt away. If those relationships are still coming up for you while you're in this path of transformation, what I often say is, rather than pointing the finger at those people saying, oh, you're ruining my life, you're making things difficult, my hope and my intention for you would be that you begin to look at those folks and say, what is it about me that is still triggered by their behavior? What is it in me that may be attracting this type of person into my life? What is it within me that is still calling in this kind of experience? And so get honest with yourself. What is it within me that's calling this in? How am I participating in this? And how is this experience coming from a dark corner within my psyche? And recognizing that the outside world is always reflecting our internal condition. And recognizing the mirror, that people are always mirroring back to us what we are feeling. So if she has people coming up into her life, negative friends, people that are jealous, she says negative people randomly popping back in, and she wants to keep them at a distance. Well, the real work is to just open and rev up your practice. Pray for them, extend light to them, and sometimes politely excuse yourself from the experience. Sometimes we have to remove ourselves from those experiences. And then most importantly, ask yourself, what is it within me that may be attracting some of this behavior? Get honest with yourself. Okay. We have Jennifer, and she says, any realistic stress management techniques? I'm super depressed and I can't seem to shake it, and I've tried in the past. Okay, so Jennifer, let's do this. Okay. First of all, I've written a book about releasing stress. It's called May Cause Miracles. And I hope that this book will serve you, because it will take you, a lot of people want to be told, how do I do this? What do I do? And the neat thing about this book is that it will help you actually start to see, okay, I can do this, this, and this, and that will help change my life. And so what I want to begin to do here is just give you one quick lesson for stress management, which I think is such a valuable tool. And it looks a little bit weird, but if you're feeling anxious, this is a Kundalini exercise, and it looks totally strange, but I'm going to do it for you. You're gonna wrap your tongue around the front of your teeth. So you're going to go, and you're going to do that for like a minute, 2 minutes, breathing in slowly and exhaling. And just let your tongue just go around the front of your teeth. Immediately what happens is it takes you away from whatever it was that was stressing you out or making you depressed, and gives you something else to focus on. And it calms your brain, it calms your experience and your energy. Take that. It's a very simple tip. Another one, which I love, is to simply breathe into the feeling. So everybody shut your eyes for a moment and sit up straight. And take a deep breath into whatever it is that you're experiencing in this moment right now. Just breathe deeply into your experience. And release it. Take another deep breath in, feeling whatever you need to feel. If you have tension in your neck, breathe into your neck. If you have tension in your heart, breathe into your heart. And breathe gently into your experience. Take another deep breath in and release it. And right away, you'll start to feel a new vibration in your body. You'll start to feel a shift. If you're genuinely allowing yourself to breathe into that space within you, you can begin to feel radical change. You can start to feel yourself vibrating at a whole new level, and that shift really begins to occur naturally. It's beautiful. Take one more deep breath in and release it. I feel like we just calmed down the entire internet. Well, we did it. Nice guys. We have the power to calm down the internet. I love it. Okay, let's see what's going on Twitter. Let's see the tweets. Who's got questions? Okay, this is from Sophia. A topic that pops up is fixing others. You can't fix other people. You may have become drained. Okay, so she's saying, how do I fix other people? I don't believe in trying to fix other people. I believe that we need to focus on our side of the street and to trust that as we raise our own energy and our own intentions and our own belief systems, then in effect we will be great powers of example for the people in our lives. That we will heighten the level of experience for every being around us if we stay committed to our own desired change. And so trust and know that as you go on your own journey, you are greatly serving the people in your life. You'll see people coming to you asking for advice. You'll see them raised up, because every time you enter a room, your energy enters with you. Every time you think a thought, your energy extends beyond you. Every time you post a tweet, your energy is infused in that tweet. And so if your energy is coming from a place of a high level way of being, and it's coming from a miracle mindset, then you can trust that you are greatly benefiting the people in your life and that they will change as a result of your change. But don't make it about changing them. Make it about changing yourself. Cool. You're welcome, Sophia. She said, thanks for answering this. You're welcome, honey bunny. Okay. Let's keep it going here. I've got a bunch of questions that were sent in. Let's see here. This is Charlotte. Hi, beautiful Gabby. Hi, Charlotte. What do you do when life kicks you down to your knees? I have been sick for 2.5 months now. Been praying and surrendering. Best ways to find comfort outside of food, alcohol, or men. Oh, that's a different question. So this question really is, what do I do when life kicks me down? She's been sick. Okay. So first of all, Charlotte, let's start to see. We have to start to see how we can take responsibility. Whenever there is an illness in our life, we want to take responsibility for how we may be serving it positively or serving it negatively. When we start to begin to coexist with whatever experience we're having physically, we can begin to open our hearts and our minds to live in that experience with the thoughts of heaven, or live in that experience with the thoughts of hell. And when we start to bring in a higher level way of thinking to our physical experience, we heighten our capacity to heal. And we start to open our minds to receive innovative ways for healing. If we're walking around saying, I'm never going to get well, I'm sick, then we completely cut off our connection and our commitment to miracles. We block our capacity to maybe allow that doctor to come in. We block our capacity to let a friend give us a piece of advice that could be exactly what we needed to hear. We block our capacity to physically and energetically heal our body. Your high-level thoughts have the power to heal your body. And so my advice to you, Charlotte, is to, when you asked, how do I surrender? I would get on your knees every single day. And this is not a religious thing. This is totally non-denominational. It's an act of surrender. It's getting on your knees and saying, universe, God, whoever you speak to, I recognize my body is not exactly where I want it to be. I'm ready to receive healing. I'm open to creative possibilities for healing. I fully surrender this. I will get out of the way and I will listen to my intuition. So that can be in your own words, but just putting it out there, landing it on the ground, saying, I surrender this fully. I'm open to creative possibilities for healing. Show me what you got, right? And surrender that daily, a daily surrender. Hit your knees and pray. Oh my God, there is nothing more magnificent than that. Just let it all go and say, show me where to go, show me what to do. And there's a real relief in that. Everyone right now, just take a moment to think about what it is that you want to let go of. I want to let go of my back tension. Okay, so I'm going to pray right now. I'm going to say, we're going to pray together. God, universe, whatever you talk to, if you don't even believe in this, just say, something out there greater than me. I want to fully surrender this discomfort now. I give this to you. I welcome healing on whatever level it needs to come. Show me where to go, what to do, and what to say. I am open. I am receptive. I am ready for a miracle. Take that in and release it. Just surrender through prayer. Prayer is the medium for miracles, as it says in A Course in Miracles. So surrender it, sister. Put it out there. Let it go. Okay, now here's another one. What are the best ways to comfort yourself outside of food and alcohol? This is Aya. Oh, Aya, I have many ways for you to comfort yourself. One of them is meditation. One of them is through prayer. I believe that you can have random acts of self-care and self-kindness that can replace your need to pick up a drink or a drug. As many of you know, I have been sober for 7.5 years, so I've obviously found ways to calm myself down and comfort myself beyond drugs and alcohol and food. I've been, a recovering food addict for many years now, so I've also let that addiction go. And that comes with a desire for self-soothing and self-healing. That self-soothing and self-healing can come in the form of taking a deep breath. It can come in the form of drinking a cup of tea, right? So let's just take a sip. It can come in the form of taking a bath. It can come in the form of writing yourself a love letter. It can come in the form of reading a book that inspires you. There are so many ways to relieve ourselves from discomfort that don't involve drugs, alcohol, or food. The drugs and the alcohol and the food are just a Band-Aid to slap on top of the discomfort. The real work comes when we are willing to experience the discomfort, like I said, witness it, or we're willing to look at it, and we're willing to release it. We need to use our spiritual tools for releasing it. So my suggestion for you, Aya, is to start practicing random acts of self-kindness. That could be very nice for you. Alrighty, let's see what we have on Twitter. Twitter. Let's see here. I love you guys on Twitter. You're so cute. Gabby Bernstein is the bomb. I love you, whoever that was. That was Kim Hale. Hi, Kim. Advice. This is Blythe. Okay. Any advice on making sure the message you send out in a job search is positive? What a neat question. I love that one. Okay. And I see you on Twitter a lot, sister. I think it's Blythe, I think is your name. I'm not sure if that's your Twitter name, but I think I'm saying it right. And tell me if I am. But I like you, Twitter sister. Okay. So she's saying, any advice on making sure your message is sent out if you're applying for a job, how do you know your message is being sent out with love and a positive attitude? Yeah, so good. So I believe in praying on your resume. I pray before I press send. So before I send out an email to my mailing list, before I send an email to a potential client or someone that I may be doing business with, I just say a prayer. I say, may this be received with positivity, with love, and with respect and admiration. May what's infused inside of this message be well received and that love carry the way. So, whatever it is for you, may this email serve those who need it most. May this resume get into the hands of the employer who is the perfect match for my career. May the message of my desired job search come through with nothing but love and release. Come up with your own language, but pray on top of that. On top of that resume, pray as you press send in the email, pray before you go into the job interview, and pray to get out of your own way, because a lot of times when we're dealing with job stuff, what happens is that we're actually in a place of, we can sometimes be in a place of control and manipulation, and we can be trying to make things happen on our time and in our terms. And what we need to do is surrender once again, let go and allow. As we surrender, as we release it, that's when we start to experience the shifts occurring. So my hope for you is to use prayer just to start to set the intention for these messages to be received with a lot of love and a lot of grace and a lot of release. Because when you're sending a resume out and you're sending it out like, oh my God, I need this, oh my God, I need this, oh my God, I need this, that, oh my God, I need this energy is felt through email. It's felt through the internet, it's felt through email, it's felt immediately. And so my suggestion to you is to just let it go and allow. That's the story. All right, next question. Dear Gabrielle, could you tell me about a miracle from your own life that caused you goosebumps? And what is the frequency of small or bigger miracles you experience in one day? Okay, well, first of all, A Course in Miracles teaches us that there's no order of difficulty in miracles. So the miracle of forgiving someone that I'd been holding on to a resentment for years could be equally as significant as the miracle of just taking a deep breath and letting go of some stress. Miracles happen all day long when you live a miracle mindset, when you're committed and you're convicted to miracles. So the miracle could be in any given moment that we shift our perception. So waking up in the morning saying, oh my God, I have so much to do today, and simply saying, I choose to see this differently, and saying, I am so grateful that I have so much to do today. I'm so grateful that all I'm doing is blessed and is something I want to do, and I'm thrilled about it. That's a shift in perception. That's a miracle. All of the miracles in my life, big, quote unquote, big or small, are equal in magnitude. And I choose to see them as not any more special than the next. I choose to see them as my birthright and my experience. And this is what all of us have the capacity to experience, is that miracles are our birthright. And A Course in Miracles says that miracles are natural, and when they're not occurring, something has gone wrong. And so if they're not occurring for you, that means it's likely that you may have just been blocking your capacity to receive a miracle. And so my hope is to not emphasize one miracle is better than the next, but instead to show you that a miracle is natural and you can experience them all the time. Let's see what's going on Facebook. Let's check out the Facebook, folks. There are questions here. You can go to my Facebook page, Gabrielle Bernstein, and leave a comment below. Let's see. Oh my God, so many. Okay. People want to see this again. So Tetley T folks know that we may want to get some folks on here again. They want to maybe watch the pre-record or the post-tape, so we can do that for them. I think so. I'm not sure. Pretty sure. Okay. Looking at the tweeps. So many tweeps. All right, Gabby, why didn't you publish May Cause Miracles journal to go with the May Cause Miracles book? Hi, Lynn. Lynn Higgin. Why didn't I? Well, maybe I still will, honey bunny. That sounds like a good idea. I will tell my publishers. May Cause Miracles journal to go with the May Cause Miracles book. Good idea, baby. All right, let's see here. We've got so many tweets. I love you guys. Okay, I'm going to go back to the list here. Elisa says, does it matter when each lesson per day starts, when it starts? My mornings are so hectic, and I find that I have time a lot of mornings to read the affirmations, that she's running out of time. So in May Cause Miracles, there is a morning reflection, and she is saying she's too busy to read it. Let's read day 1 together, because my feeling is, I'm going to show you, honey, that none of us are too busy to read this. Let's see. Let's go to day 1. Morning reflection today, day 1. Let's see how long this takes us. I'm just going to prove to you that you have time to do this. Today I am the witness of my fear. I open my heart and mind to see how I have chosen fear over love. Today I will watch myself as if I'm standing across the street, peeking into the world I have created. I will witness how my fears run the show. I will pay attention to my patterns. Without judgment, I will become conscious of where my mind chose wrongly and how these fear-based thoughts have tainted my happiness. I know this practice is the first step to uncovering my destructive patterns to create powerful change. I am ready, willing, and able to look at the delusional thoughts I have projected. I am willing to witness my fear. That was it. I don't think that took more than 30 seconds, honey. I think you have 30 seconds there. And this was for my friend, who was it? This was Elisa. Elisa, I think you can read that in the morning. And I don't mean to be patronizing. I just mean to be really supportive. I want you to take responsibility for your morning. The morning is the most sacred time for a spiritual practice. just simply reading that can, if all you did in the next 40 days, Elisa, was read your morning reflection before you began your day, you will begin to experience miracles in your life. So take that seriously. Don't block yourself. There's, yeah, you jump out of bed, you got things to do. You can take 20 seconds to read that. Do it. Do it. I'm not asking much of you. Just saying, take a minute. I'm asking you often to sit in contemplation and rest and listen to that and allow those words to come in. But if you can't do that, just read it and move on with your day. Okay? All right, guys. Okay. Selena Lynn. Do you have any specific recommendations for prayers, affirmations, and such before bedtime? Okay, Selena. Every day of May Cause Miracles has an affirmation. So I like for you to stay in the commitment. Let's see what today's affirmation is. Oh, this is so fun. I'm willing to witness my fear. That was today's affirmation. And sometimes you can use these affirmations as something that you use throughout the day. You can also let them create a new thought form for you, which can inform your prayer. Often before bed, I think it's really helpful to say, thank you, universe, for all the gifts you have given me today. I'm grateful for all that I received, and I'm ready to receive more. And just let it all go and just expect a miracle and surrender and just allow. It's a really nice way to end your day with gratitude, really special way. And just kind of shifts you out of all of the negative crap that you might have been holding on to and brings you into a place of peace. And that's a really nice way to begin. Another thing I think that's very valuable is to use affirmations throughout the day. So we've got the affirmations in the book that you can use. I just launched an app called the Spirit Junkie app, which is an alarm clock with affirmations. So there's an affirmation that comes up every day. You can share it, you can tweet it, you can post it on Facebook. It's called Spirit Junkie in the iTunes store. And in effect, what happens with this is that you have this affirmation that you can set as an alarm. And so it can go off throughout the day. And you can have those miracle moments of that alarm just saying, choose love, whatever the affirmation is. And it comes and it pops up and it reminds you all throughout the day. So that's a really nice opportunity for you too. All right, Selena, do you have any specific recommendations? Oh, that was Selena. Okay. Do you have a hard time to stay on track and not go back to the way things were? That's Beverly. Really good question. Beverly, here's the deal. This practice for me is I've been in my spiritual practice for 7.5 years. And I believe that it's a practice that I will be committed to for a lifetime. I believe that when things get good, you work your spiritual practice even more. And that the more we crack open, the more we have to continue to stay committed to spirituality and a miracle mindset so that we can maintain that flow and heighten our life's experience and hold all that is that we create. Because often when we open up to spirit and we let spirit into our life, we start to create a lot, we start to manifest a lot. But if we don't continue that practice, we cannot hold and be a container to maintain what we have created. And so we have to make sure that we take responsibility for what we're creating and that we continue to work our practice. Very, very important in our life. Make it the primary function, make it our primary goal and our primary intention to stay committed to our spiritual connection and to trust that that will give us what we need. All right, let's see what's going on Twitter. Tweeps. Any questions, Tweeps? Let's see. You guys are just repeating a lot of what I said. I love it. Okie dokie. Let's see here. I love you guys. And I think I'm probably going to go back to the questions because I'm seeing a lot more tweets and comments, but you can tweet questions to me if you would like. All right, we've got more here. We've got Liz who says, how can I put all this groovy thought into action in my life? All right, Liz. Well, I think it's taking lots of little right actions. People can say, oh, I'm so inspired. I saw this person talk, or I read this article and I want this. And, that can be really exciting. But I think that the most important thing is that we start to take lots of little right actions in our life. That's what this book has done. It's created a daily guidebook of really simple little right actions so that you can start to create shifts on a moment to moment basis. And so rather than thinking, oh, I got to make all this change overnight, trust that the real change is going to happen in the subtleties and trust that those little shifts are going to start to create that change for you. So whether you use some of the lessons that you've heard on this live chat, maybe some of the lessons that you're pulling from the book, maybe you're receiving some messages from Twitter, maybe take one of those messages and apply it for the next 30 days. 40 days if you want to go big, and just see the shift occur. Just witness the shift occur. If you change one thing about your behavior and you practice that change for 40 days, miracles, baby. Miracles. Okay, let's see here. Who's next? We've got Kim. How can I stop thinking destructive thoughts and manifest what I actually want instead? And what if I don't know what that is? Okay. First step is to start to reclaim more positive thoughts. Rather than thinking, oh, I need to figure out what I want. Actually, what you want today, Liz, is you want to feel better. So the manifestation that you want today, you may think, I want to manifest a man, I want to manifest money, I want to manifest something. No, I think today you want to manifest peace. And if you commit to that, and you make that your desired intention, you can attain that. By attaining that desired intention of manifesting peace, then in effect you begin to open up your capacity to manifest more into your life. But making that manifestation the first and foremost desire, I'm ready to manifest peace in my life. That is a massive, massive opening for you. And so I hope that you can just make that your desired intention right now. I want to manifest peace, and that you can trust that everything will unfold with that desired goal. And that is actually something that you unconsciously said and put out by joining this live chat today. Is when you're on these types of shows, when you're watching something like this, or you're watching a lecture, or you're reading a book, you've made an unconscious sacred commitment to yourself, to the universe, to everything around you, saying, I'm ready to manifest peace. And so you're already showing up, you and everybody else. You guys rock. I mean, you've already shown up. You're already saying, this is what I want. Let's go. Show me what you got. By showing up on this Ustream chat today with Tetley T, you are showing up with a desired intention to change. And that is a miracle. So you already are miracle workers, everybody. You're rock stars. Love you. How do I dump the emotions I store in my body? Ooh, good one. I want to dump them too. My emotions are all right here in my shoulder and they hurt. Okay. I believe in Kundalini yoga. I believe in breath. Okay. So I think that through our breath, we can just release it all. Okay. So one of the things I want to just teach you guys right now is how to breathe. And this is the yogic breathing, how to breathe properly. So many of us are breathing the opposite to how we should be breathing. So when we breathe, put your hand on your tummy. You can even put a book on your stomach. I'm going to do this with May Cause Miracles. I think this is hysterical. Okay, so ready? Ready, everybody? Okay, so when you're breathing, you want to make sure you're breathing out. And when you're breathing in, your stomach is extending out. When you're breathing out, your stomach is extending in. That must look so strange. That had to look so funny and weird, but I really wanted to show you. Put your hand on your stomach, or put a book on your stomach. Put May Cause Miracles on your stomach and see it's extending out as you breathe in. As you exhale, you're contracting. Your stomach comes in. As you breathe in, it extends. As you breathe out, it comes in. In, out, in, out. And you can start to see that pumping of your stomach going out and in, out and in. So just take that consideration. Breathing deeply in your nose and out your nose, and start to see how you can experience some of the energy in your body begin to shift naturally when you begin to breathe properly. This type of breathing also really helps you as you open up your lungs. You can really breathe and take more air into your lungs if you breathe this way. Breathing in, and your stomach is extending and it's extending, and take another little sip of breath and just let it extend even more. On the exhale, pull it all in and see, is that probably the opposite? If that's the opposite of how you've been breathing, feel free to tell me on Twitter and Facebook. I'm interested to know. You can really look and put that May Cause Miracles book up against your stomach and see if that's how you're breathing. Ask yourself, get honest with yourself. And that will be a great way for you to begin to release some negativity. I'm going to sneeze. Hang on. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry. I have the loudest sneeze. My father once said to me, do you sneeze like that on a date? I do. I sneeze. My fiance hates my sneeze. Sorry. All right. So that's how you can release your emotions. I think, Kundalini yoga is all about breath work, and it's all about, moving your body physically and rapidly so that you can really just get that junk out. So you can check out my YouTube videos. I've got a lot of Kundalini videos, and there's one meditation called A Meditation for Breaking Through the Blocks. That might be a good one for you. It's the Ego Eradicator, and that's on YouTube. All right. No, this isn't a question about this. This is Nellie. She says, how did Kundalini Yoga and being vegan change your life? Well, first of all, just for the record, I'm not vegan. I don't eat dairy, and I don't eat a lot of animal products, but I do sometimes have animal products. So I'm not a vegan, but I do drink a lot of juice. Drinking my juice. So, but just to clarify, but even making those changes of letting go of the dairy, letting go of the coffee, really choosing the tea over the coffee, and having a practice of being a teacher and a student of Kundalini, and bringing these practices into my life. She's asking me how did I do that, and how did it change my life? These practices have radically changed my life. I don't think I would be. I've been on a several city book tour in the midst of flu season. I am not sick. I will not get sick. I am so healthy, and that is because of my commitment to healthful eating, drinking a lot of juice, not eating dairy products, not having caffeine in my diet anymore, very, very low intake of animal products, but once in a while, if it's organic and farm raised. And then having my Kundalini practice is just something that I turn to every day. And whatever spiritual practice you have will help keep you healthy. But for me, that practice in particular really, really keeps me clean, keeps me committed, keeps me on point. So I think May Cause Miracles can give that to you. It'll keep you in that container of raising your thoughts, therefore raising your energy. And so I think this is a really important message for you. Alrighty, we have time for one or two more questions. Let's see here. How do I get back on track? That's an interesting question, Amanda. Amanda, getting back on track. Every moment is an opportunity to get back on track. We think, oh my God, I've gone so far in the wrong direction. I've detoured so far into fear. I'll never get back. Hell no. Every moment is an opportunity to get back on track. Right now, in this moment, Amanda, you can say, I'm willing to get back on track, and you're on track, honey. So we make it so hard for ourselves. We make everything so difficult, and that is not what we are here to do. Life is not meant to be difficult. These experiences are not meant to be difficult. We just become so attached to the negativity. And so my hope for you is just to recognize that right now, in this moment, all of you, in this moment, we can pray for a miracle. We can get back on track, and we can open our hearts and our minds. Alrighty. One more question. Let's see what the tweeps have to say. Any help finding your purpose in life? All right. Thanks, Jennifer. Okay. Jennifer asked, do you have any help finding your purpose in life? Okay. So a lot of what's infused throughout May Cause Miracles is the message that our purpose is to be an extension of love, to experience happiness and joy and love in our life, and to be an extension of love. And the form with which that is expressed is not important. That form comes to us intuitively. But as long as you commit right now, Jennifer, and all of you, that your purpose is to feel good and to help others do the same. Your purpose is to be positive and to have love come through you, and to be an extension of that love and to guide people to a place of love. If you accept that fully, then you'll intuitively be guided to all of the ways through which you can do that. For me, when I committed to a spiritual path and committed to be a messenger for love and committed to be a miracle worker, the guidance was clear. I heard very loud intuition. You must be talking about this. Go out and lecture about what you're learning. This was a strong, loud call. Then it became very clear within a few years of being a lecturer, you must write books. This is a time. I didn't know how to write a book. I had 8th grade English, okay? Never had any literary training whatsoever. But I had heard the call and I couldn't deny it. And so my first book, I got a writing coach. She taught me how to write a book. I wrote my book, and then I've been writing books ever since. So the universe will provide for you what you need in order to fully fulfill your purpose. But we must all accept fully that our purpose is to be an extension of love. This book, May Cause Miracles, will give you that. This book it's designed to help you bust through your blocks, to release your fears, to transform your thoughts to a new loving place. But it's also a book on how to find your purpose and how to accept your purpose, not find it. We already know what it is. How to accept it, embrace it, and act upon it. So I think that's a really nice question to leave on. I'm just going to see what the tweets are saying here. Thank you for connecting us to breathing. Oh, you're welcome, Deborah. Oh, Jennifer, Karen, Pinter. Oh, you guys are so nice. Okay. Loving you, loving you, loving you. I want to really make sure that we all do a little shout out. Send lots of love on Twitter to @TetleyUSA and send love to Tetley T and just thank them for putting this on. We wouldn't be here right now joining in this collective consciousness of folks coming together for a heightened conversation, talking about shifting our perceptions on the internet, which is so radical. I want to thank Ustream, but most importantly, let's thank Tetley. So go out on the Twitter sphere and say thank you, Tetley USA, for serving us in this way, for bringing us this warmth, right? And bringing us a heightened conversation on the internet. These are beautiful people doing beautiful work. I'm so grateful to have been able to work with them. If you're in Miami, I'll be there tomorrow night, folks. So actually Thursday night, I'm going to be in Miami. So join me in Miami if you're out there. If you have not picked up Make Cause Miracles, this is the book, Make Cause Miracles, a 40-day guidebook, subtle shifts for radical change and unlimited happiness. And if you're ready, if you're feeling ready to create that change, know that this Ustream chat today was the first step, that you've already made a commitment by showing up today. In Kundalini Yoga, we say that 90% of the practice is just showing up. So you just showing up and saying, I'm ready to hear what this lady has to say, that is 90% of it. Now you can trust that you have created a sacred contract and you have said, I'm willing to change. I'm ready to receive guidance. And I am ready to see what is in store for me. So pay attention. Expect many miracles. Show up for the assignments and be open to receive tremendous guidance. Be really open. Just open your arms and say, show me what you got. I am ready to receive this guidance. And I believe that there was a piece in you today that had that openness and that willingness. And that is what guided you to this chat today. So blessings to you all. Thank you so very much for joining me. Thank you so much, Tetley T, for hosting us. And thank you with so much love, so much respect and gratitude for everybody. Feel free to keep the chat going. You can go to the Tetley T page on Facebook. You can talk to us on Twitter at Gabby Bernstein, at Tetley USA. Tweet at me and post on my Facebook fan page, Gabrielle Bernstein. There are many places where you can get in touch. Let me know what's going on. I'm happy to respond to you. I'll spend some time doing that today. Keep the connections going and stay connected. I love you. Happy, happy, happy miracle life. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. May you be blessed. May you be happy. May you expect many miracles. Bye, everybody. Talk to you soon.